Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. Hey, in this video I'm going to be showcasing a weapon that I think is pretty criminally underrated. In fact, it took me a while to get a good roll on one of these, and I have been in the hunt for one for a while, but last week I did manage to knock out some Menagerie and get a butt ton of Proeliums to drop, and I landed on one that works pretty freaking well. This is the Proelium? I just call it the Proelium. The Proelium FR3. It is an Omlon fusion rifle. It is a 540. It charges super fast and discharges really quickly. But the downside of that is that you sacrifice consistency, which we'll talk about in a minute. My personal role that I have here is rangefinder under pressure. Under pressure is the perk that basically makes it more consistent. It hits more consistently when the magazine is lower, which is pretty nice. Also has particle repeater, which means the spread is going to be tighter. It has a range masterwork and an Icarus grip mod on it. So first, let's knock out the weaknesses, and then we'll talk about all the strengths of this weapon in particular. So weaknesses, in my opinion, a god roll is needed, or it's going to be terribly inconsistent. Like, if you don't have a god roll, this thing is going to struggle. You're going to be vooping people, and you're going to be scratching your head while they, walk away or kill you with a fair amount of health left pretty frequently. That was my initial experience with the Proelium, and it was a really aggravating one. I felt like, what's the point in using this fusion rifle if it's not going to kill anything in one hit? Because if it doesn't kill in one hit, then you need to switch to your primary, or you need to be close enough to melee, or you need to charge up a second Voop, and in all those scenarios, you're most likely dead before you can do those things in the current sandbox. The other opponent's probably going to put you down before you have a chance to switch off the Proelium, charge it again, or follow it up with a melee, usually. So, it's terribly inconsistent if you don't have a god roll, so a god roll is needed. Second weakness, it's not as easy to use as something like an Aaron Till or Wizened Rebuke. So, I mean, here's the honest truth, and this isn't to crap on Aaron Till. I have like 11,000 kills in my Aaron Till. I love that thing. But it's easy mode. When you put an Aaron Till on, the game gets easier, in my opinion. It's not the only weapon that's like that, but it is like that. And the Proelium is not like that. The game does not instantly get easier just because you equipped it. The Proelium is not going to do all the work for you. It's not as forgiving as an Aaron Till or a Wizened Rebuke. It does require accuracy and skill. It really does, and I know that people are going to be like, what? A fusion rifle? Yes, this fusion rifle requires accuracy and skill in order to be a consistent, lethal machine. So let's talk about the strengths. Let's move on to the strengths of this weapon. Firstly, the spread is tight as fudge. The spread is so tight on this thing, even at range. And all these strengths are assuming that you managed to get a good roll on it. If you have a good roll like mine, the spread is so freaking tight even at range, which is really cool. It's like a laser beam, and Omlon fusion rifles are sort of known for this. There's a clip in here which you already saw on Dead Cliffs, where the spread is so tight I was able to kill a guy on a head glitch where it was over by the C flag, and this man is barely visible at all. I can see the top of his shoulder pad and the top of his helmet when my fusion rifle discharges, and it lands 6 projectiles, and all that is visible is half of his face and half of his shoulder pad. That's it. And it landed 6 projectiles on this man. None of them went into the wall. They all hit him and put him down in one Voop, which is really impressive for a fusion rifle. That spread is really freaking tight. The next strength, I would say, is that it's great against shotgunners. A lot of times you have this problem where if you don't have a shotgun equipped and you're in relatively close quarters with a shotgunner, and they seize the opportunity, they say, all right, I'm bum rushing. I'm going to take some damage, but I'm going to put this guy down. I'm going to close the gap and put him down, and I'm going to walk away from this gunfight. If you have a hand cannon out, usually maybe you get 2 shots off before he closes the gap and shotguns you with a one-hit kill. If you have a fusion rifle, sometimes you get ready to charge it up, but you're dead before you can get the Voop off. Or, another problem with fusion rifles, if you die mid-Voop, you're not going to get all the projectiles out of the gun, which I think, this is a side note, I think that's stupid. I think that if the gun discharges, it discharges. It should shoot all of its projectiles. But fusion rifles shoot in a sequence. They don't shoot all the projectiles at once. So what happens is if you die mid-voop, half of the projectiles just aren't going to leave the barrel. And so you're only going to do partial damage, which I think that's dumb. I think if the user dies, there's no reason for the firearm to stop discharging. It should still discharge, don't you think? Unless the gun is literally connected to your life force, which does not make sense to me. Anyways, neither here nor there. But the principle is the same. You're probably going to die before you can kill the rushing shotgunner. But with the Proelium, you don't have that problem as much because the Proelium charges really, really freaking fast. Like, really freaking fast. So, with that quick charge, you can react to shotgunners much more quickly. And they might initially assume that you killed them with an air until with backup plan, because you vooped so quickly. And the reality is that you did not. You just had a really fast charging, not so hard hitting fusion rifle in the form of the Proelium. So if you are accurate, not only can you put down shotgunners, but another strength of this weapon is that you can put down air until users. So assuming that that person is not using backup plan, and even if they are, if you're assuming they're not running around with the air until out, and they're actually using backup plan, you can consistently outgun an air until, even if they start charging first, because the difference in charge time is pretty dramatic. So a lot of times, there was another match that you'll see in the gameplay here. I don't recall specifically the name of the player. It was like Gillies or Exiles, or it ended with an LES. That's all I know. But the guy was using an air until, and he was putting in some work with it against my team. But in most of the encounters, almost all the encounters I got in with him, I was able to outgun him with my Proelium if I landed my projectiles, because I could charge faster. So there were a number of times, and that's the thing when you're going against a fusion rifle, a lot of times if you win against a fusion rifle, you walk away unhurt. So the guy that was topping their team, I was able to put him down before he got any projectiles on me, and walk away from that encounter and chain into, you know, kill streaks, multi-kills, whatever, without having taken any damage to him, because he couldn't charge his fusion rifle quickly enough to put me down before the Proelium put him down. So it all comes back to if you're accurate. And one tip I'd like to give you is when you use the Proelium, I tried to stop my habit of aiming down sights, looking through the scope while I charge it. Instead, I would charge and then just snap in right where I wanted it to be, right? It's almost like a quick scope with a fusion rifle, but you're going to be much more accurate doing that because you're not trying to ADS and track movement with a slower reticle time. Put the reticle where they're at, where you need it to be, and then scope in right as the weapon discharges. And that you're going to have so much more consistency out of the weapon if you do that than if you were to just ADS the whole time. And one player that does this really, really well, his name is Lego Le Flash. Legoleflash. Lego Le Flash. Look him up on YouTube, check him out on Twitter. The clips he posts with fusion rifles are disgusting, and this is exactly what he does, this quick scope style fusion rifling. And he's really freaking good at it, so check him out sometime. Another strength, the mag size is 7. Now this goes in contrast to under pressure, so be careful. Okay, put a little bit of thought. If you have 3 rounds in the magazine, but you want to use under pressure, or you have say you have 3 rounds in reserve, and you're about to pick up a brick, and you need to reload. So you have a choice here. You can either reload the weapon, and then pick up the brick. That way you have 3 in the mag, and all of them are going to be buffed by under pressure. Or you could say, I'm going into a fight where I know there's several people, so I'm going to reload. I'm going to pick up the brick and then reload and have a mag of 7. And then under pressure won't kick in until after I take a few shots. And so if you think you might need all 7 of those shots, you have that option to you. You know, the mag size is big, so that's a strength too. It adds a little bit of a component of strategy to when you reload and when you pick up bricks, but it does give it a little bit more versatility. Last thing I would say is that it has great multi-kill potential because there's no backup plan needed. You can just voop, 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 voop in rapid succession with this thing, and assuming you're accurate, you can get some nasty multi-kills, and I do that in this gameplay several times, do some nasty multi-kills, just because you can fire off so many shots so quickly, unlike the more popular fusion rifles out there like Air Until and Wizened Rebuke, which require backup plan in order to voop that quickly, and even then you can only take 2 voops that quickly, and it's back to slow rate of fire, slow charge rate. So I think for all these reasons, the Proelium is a great choice And it's not equip and profit. It's going to require some strategy. It's going to require some precision and some skill on your part. But if you are able to really get a hang of this thing, you can do some serious work with it. And I sure did. I hope you enjoyed that gameplay. Please feel free to check out our community that's growing on Facebook. Facebook.com/TheTrueVanguard. And I post all kinds of content that's exclusive to our group on Facebook. And there's a separate group just for supporters, people who support the live stream and the page there as well. And I post exclusive videos to just them as a way of saying thank you. It's sort of like Patreon, but not Patreon. It's cheaper, and you still get exclusive content that no one else sees just by being a supporter. So feel free to check that out as well. Thanks so much, guys, for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and the gameplay, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible. Bye-bye.